butt to berm. That should be your mantra as you go into the turn. What's up, folks? Bekah Rottenberg here with Brave Endeavors, mountain bike skills and strength training, and we are here in Post Canyon, located in Hood River, Oregon. And Post Canyon is known for its fast, flowy trails that are full of berms. Berms can be super fun, and when you know how to ride them, it's like the best roller coaster ride ever. But as a mountain bike coach, I work with a ton of people who look at berms and they're like, how do I ride this thing? So if you look at berms with a similar feeling or expression of, what the heck do I do on these things? Stick around, because I'm going to take you through how to ride a berm with your body positioning and your bike, and ultimately more confidence and more fun. These videos are made possible by Mountain View Cycles, located in downtown Hood River, which is personally my favorite bike shop. All right, that being said, let's dive in to how to ride berms. Let's look at 3 of the most common mistakes that I see. So number 1 is entering the berm too low. Okay, when you enter the berm too low, you actually increase the angle of the turn, which makes it a lot harder to carry speed through that turn. Number 2, entering the berm too fast. The old, I'm gonna rail it, and then you slam on the brakes, which stands your bike upright, decreasing valuable traction that you want to have as you roll through the berm. And then number 3 is fighting the berm. We want to work with the berm. And so when people fight the berm, they try to stand their bike upright rather than lean the bike and lean their body over, which is what allows for maximum traction as you roll through the berm. Now that you know the 3 most common mistakes people tend to make, take a moment and think, do I make any of those mistakes? If you do, let's go into how you can fix them. So I like to break berms down into 3 main components, or 3 main tips, okay? Number 1 is line choice. Number 2 is speed. And number 3 is your bike body positioning. Now the first 2 are really straightforward and we'll cover pretty easily. Number 3, bike body positioning, is a skill that you will spend the rest of your life working on. It's very much what I call a growth mindset skill, in that you will never just check the box and be like, bam, I've got the bike body positioning required for berms. It's something you can always get better at, and everybody I know, from top level riders to newer riders, are still trying to work on it. Tip number 1 is enter high and wide. So when you're looking at the trail, rather than looking straight down the middle, find the edge or the outside of the trail and try to carry that contour as long as you can, or at least until the apex before dropping down through the turn. Tip number 2 is speed. And this one you really need to play around with, but you want to enter the turn as slowly as you need to so that you can be off the brakes by the apex. The apex is the sharpest part of the turn. So you always want to enter slow, exit fast, which means you're leaving the berm or leaving your turn with more speed than you enter. So oftentimes you have to slow down way more than you realize in order to really carry good speed through that turn. All right, tip number 3, bike body position. And I want you thinking butt to berm. So this is where things get hard. This is the lifelong learning process right here. And as a mountain bike coach, I like to try to make things as simple as possible. So when you're coming into a berm, I want you to think about your butt as if it's a rudder, like it's steering the ship. And before you're even in that turn, start shifting your hips towards the berm, okay? Butt to berm. That should be your mantra as you go into the turn. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other things happening here. So some of the details or the other nuances is you want your bike to be leaning into the turn. You want to keep your feet level, And you want to be looking through the turn, right? You want to look where you want to go. But the number one thing I want you to think about is just sending those hips or sending your butt to the berm. And I think you're going to find a tremendous amount of success and improvement with those 3 tips there, right? Line choice, entering high, speed, entering as slowly as you need to so that you can be off the brakes by the apex. And then number 3, sending your hips out to the berm. So a huge component of riding berms is trusting yourself and trusting the bike with this lean. Now the thing to recognize is that when the bike is leaned over at an angle like this is where you have maximum traction with the ground, right? You have the largest contact patch of the tire hitting the ground. If you fight the berm, don't fight the berm, but if you fight the berm and you actually try to stand up, which is probably your comfort zone, your bike could end up sliding down the berm. We don't want that, right? So it takes a little bit of faith and trust in yourself that you can lean over, look where you want to go, send that butt to the berm, and you're going to get it. When you enter the berm, you want to have your pedals level, okay? And that means level to the surface on which you're riding. So not one up, one down like this. The reason you want to have your pedals level is that's going to allow you to compress your suspension evenly, which gives you more control. If you're too far back, your front is going to float around a little bit. And if you're too far forwards, your back is going to skip around. And both of those things are going to result in a loss of control and making that berm feel really wonky. Okay, my friends, now that you know what to do when it comes to berms, it's time for you to go practice. And what's the best way to go practice? Well, fortunately, oftentimes flow trails that are full of berms are pretty short in nature. So find your favorite flow trail and plan to do just a couple laps, 2, 3, maybe 5. And these are the things I want you to remember. Enter slow, right? Don't go flying into that berm. Enter high or wide, and then send that butt to the berm, okay? And you're gonna find a lot of success. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. It helps a lot with making other cool, useful videos. And the last thing is I want to send a huge shout out to all my sponsors: Patagonia, Smith Optics, Deity, Ride Concepts, Ergon, Trail Butter, and SRAM. That's all I've got for you for now. Otherwise, be fit, be strong, and be brave.